Welcome to the Fear Fiction Podcast. Fearfic is the term for short horror fiction, mostly posted on the web. It includes any and all related subgenres. Join three assholes talking basement goo Slimebeast, inebriated interstellar traveler Abysmii, and irritable ghostly man-horde Dead Palette, as they read all stories horror and internet-related, paragraph by paragraph, and bullshit while they do it. From adolescent revenge fantasies to subtle postmodern narratives about real-life events and everything in between, they read it and critique. You better believe it. Kick it to the cold open, white boy.
Prasokour, I am under the impression that you might like dinosaurs.
I know that that's a pretty common thing I normally get. I'm not entirely sure where that comes from.
So you're debunking the rumor right here. You don't like dinosaurs.
Oh, no, I do. I'm just not entirely sure how everybody can figure that out automatically.
So I saw you tweeting about some dinosaur stuff today, and I whenever I see you talking about dinosaurs, sometimes you talk about stuff that I understand, and then other times you're just like, yeah, this dinosaur touched a angiosperm fossil, and I'm just like, I don't know. So elaborate.
That was specifically making fun of the tendency, whenever a new paper comes out about dinosaurs, there's always a tendency in, when news outlets do a write-up about it, for them to shoehorn T-Rex into the title of the article, regardless of if T-Rex has anything to do with the animal in question.
Top 10 things that a T-Rex touched.
Number 1, your mom.
Number 2, your mom's clothing. The T-Rex ate your mom.
Number 3, your dick.
The condom off of it as well. So, randomly, I was having an issue, and I just want to bring this up because it just happened to me, although this might be in the past now when this airs. It's about an art thing. Can I air an art frustration that I know that all three of us have shared?
Yeah.
So all three of us are artists of varying skills, me at the lower end, you two on the higher end. And so there is a game that I play called Rainbow Six Siege, and there's an esports scene for it. And what they'll do is, to make money for everybody involved, they will have an artist come on board for this organization and make a gun skin. And you can buy this skin in-game to represent your favorite team. And so it's a way for the artist to get paid, for the esports team to get paid, and for the people who make the game to get paid. They all get a cut. Now, I didn't realize how small the cut was for the artists, but that's a whole nother story that is just coming out. But anyway, last year, a team hired a person to make art for a gun skin, and it had art of a woman with a sword or whatever, and it was super cool and badass, and everybody saw it, and yeah, it's cool. A bunch of people bought it. And then they found out it was super plagiarized. Just the most blatant tracing you could imagine. Now, just take my word for it that if you saw it, every tool of the trade that you use to try and obscure your plagiarism that doesn't work, this person implemented. And they were caught doing it. And not only that, they were caught doing it multiple times. And the esports organization, Dark Zero, was like, wow, we didn't know. Sorry about that. We're cutting ties with this person. Come to find out, yesterday evening, they rehired the same person who has since then been caught tracing other people's art again. And so that's what we're left with is this, where the entire community is just like, oh, that's gross. So another artist who I've spoken to just a little bit here and there, he made some art for them, the same organization, and he just came forward with a bunch of information. Now, ballpark, how much would you think that making a commission for, a original piece of art to go into a video game to represent your esports organization, how much money would you ballpark a commission for that would be? Just pull a number.
5,000?
Ooh, I would say, as an illustrator, I would ask for a set fee and then royalties for any sales.
That's the smart decision. And wow, your 5,000 number, might be a little high for what, like, I would guess, because this is a game on the $100.
$100?
$100.
Are you for real?
And then he asked for $120, and then they tried to lowball him to $100.
Oh, no.
Wow.
No.
Now, you might think, oh, they probably got some, like, 18-year-old that has no concept of money that isn't the greatest artist in the world. No, this person is a perfectly talented artist, going to college for being an artist, perfectly great illustrator. They disregarded all of his suggestions and gave him $100, smacked him on the bottom, and said, be on your way.
Ooh.
Don't care for that.
Isn't there a lot of prolific tracing in the world of paleo art?
Oh yeah, it's not so much among professional paleo artists, but basically dinosaurs occupy a sort of weird middle ground in between public domain and intellectual property, where they are animals, so nobody like owns the right to T-Rex or Velociraptor or whatever. But of course, if you make a particular work of art of a dinosaur, that particular work of art, is of course intellectual property. But
just like if there's a creepypasta story on the internet, nobody owns that. But if I narrate it, I own the rights to the story now.
Of course, that is that's how the law works. But yeah, so anybody, of course, who wants to capitalize on dinosaurs by making dinosaur merchandise, which is a guaranteed sell. Of course, you're going to sell dinosaur merchandise. We'll just Google, T-Rex or dinosaur or whatever, and we'll just blatantly copy whatever comes up. In particular, within the last, ever since 2015, when Jurassic World came out, there was this sort of viral marketing website that was sort of in-universe, like, you reserve your reservation at Jurassic World, which is pretty cool, actually. But on that website, there were these wonderful blank, what's the file type? PNGs of dinosaur renders from the movie. Especially, so those got copied to hell and back. Because it's a nice, wonderful blank PNG, you can just copy and paste or save to your computer, very easy to get a hold of. So ever since that website went up, I've been seeing copies of that render everywhere. I mean, I remember you showed me a backpack for sale that had it. My mom got me a wallet for Christmas that had it on it, just randomly.
So I was on a field trip back when I worked in childcare, and I was like, hey, look at this, it has Patrick's name on it, hey, and I sent it to you, and you just, like, immediately, in literally a minute or less, you sent back the PNG file.
Yeah. It's among dinosaur merchandise, it's pretty much anytime you see dinosaur merchandise, it's almost 100% guaranteed it's copied from something. Because why go to the trouble of hiring, commissioning an artist to draw a dinosaur when there's so much wonderful free art on the internet, quote unquote free art?
Well, at least artists are getting, and paleo enthusiasts are actually getting consulted now, because we watched Prehistoric Planet over our vacation weekend, the three of us, and that was pretty gosh darn incredible. The revelations that had, and its speculation on these horrifically giant creatures in the past.
Oh yeah, Prehistoric Planet is great. One thing to understand about Prehistoric Planet, it didn't just have consultants. I mean, even Jurassic World will have a quote unquote consultant, i.e. somebody they can basically use as a prop to say, hey, look, our dinosaurs are accurate, even though they'll do whatever they want anyway. In this case, there's one fellow in particular named Darren Naish, Dr. Darren Naish, who's a casual acquaintance of mine. And he was basically, he is not only one of the most brilliant working paleontologists alive, but also cares a lot about how dinosaurs are represented in media. And he wasn't just a consultant, he was basically in charge of the creature designs, about how a lot of the animals looked and behaved. So he actually had creative control over it. And it's not surprising at all that when you actually have somebody who understands dinosaurs and cares about them, when you have them in charge of how your dinosaurs look and behave, the result is infinitely more interesting than the dinosaur movie where the people in charge don't know and don't care about dinosaurs.
Well, it's been this frustrating thing where everything that I know about dinosaurs comes from you. And for the longest time, the only thing that was really discussed in terms of speculation was, did dinosaurs have feathers or not? Did they sound like chickens or did they sound like crocodiles? Or, just memes about making dinosaurs less intimidating. And it's amazing how many things that scientists can legitimately speculate on. And that's what's so interesting about it. You can, I recommend anybody just go on YouTube and look at clips of Prehistoric Planet to see whether or not they actually think it's worth it to watch it. And you'll just see stuff that you wouldn't predict.
Well, I mean, possible spoiler warning. Do you want to talk about your favorite thing from it?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Let's talk about Arson Bird.
Yes.
Which is absolutely, you were like, oh, he's going to like the femboy pterodactyls. And it's just like, no, Arson Bird is my waifu. Chelsea, you explain Arson Bird.
Okay. Arson Bird is a dinosaur that takes advantage of wildfires by grabbing, what's the word? There's a word. Sticks, I guess.
Dicks?
Yes.
We're not talking about the femboy dinosaurs.
It sounds like little things that are a little bit on fire and then go sets fire to other areas in order to drive prey out.
Grabs matches. So you're saying it grabs matches?
Yes. Matches, that's the word.
And okay,
Maybe.
So this dinosaur goes out to a building, buys the building, puts an insurance plan on the building, lights it on fire, makes it look like local neighborhood kids did it, and collects the insurance money.
And that's why it's your favorite.
Yes.
You love insurance fraud.
Then moves to another town and starts it all again.
So the dinosaur in question, what is the actual name of the dinosaur?
So they don't give us a specific name. They refer to it as part of a group of dinosaurs called the Troodontids, which are a group of small feathered dinosaurs, mostly known for having some of the biggest brains of any non-bird dinosaur we know about.
And breathing fire.
Breathing fire, yes.
So if there's a natural forest fire, as Californians love, this dinosaur would actually look for a piece of kindling to create a fire elsewhere, to get prey to come out of their hiding and go into less advantageous positions to capitalize and get a meal.
Yep. And for anybody who's sitting there going, oh, come on, surely that's just completely made up. Well, yes, but that's the way it is with a lot of dinosaur behavior. Dead things don't do a lot, so actually getting an idea of dinosaur behavior can be very difficult. But this is something that birds do today. Multiple species of birds of prey will, when there's a raging fire, will pick up small little sticks that have smoldering embers on it and deliberately carry them to places where the fire hasn't spread yet, and then, rush any animals that are, trying to escape. So it's still, it's crazy, but it is based on, something we know about real live animals today.
And they do it because of the leprechauns.
Yes.
I recently found out about firehawks, which they do that, apparently.
Yep.
And these birds are not actually on fire.
Oh, only if they're careful.
That's disappointing. But this is a Creepypasta podcast. Do we want to read prehistoric killer creepypasta?
No.
Well,
sorry, Slimebeast isn't here, so I have to supply.
No, you're right. You have to be the party pooper. Yeah. Prehistoric killer creepypasta. We don't know much about this. It has a little preamble that says the prehistoric killer creepypasta is about a protagonist. All right, good. I like when stories have a protagonist. Mark Saylor, investigating the case of murderous Spinosaurus
Egypticus.
Yep. That survived into the modern day and started to remember its murderous plots and tragedies. Is that a real dinosaur?
Dinosaurus? Yeah. It's probably most well known for being the big bad dinosaur of Jurassic Park 3.
Okay.
And that's also one thing we did when they came to visit is that we went to the Bronx Zoo. And
that was so fun.
Yes, and they had actually had like an animatronic dinosaur thing there. And this was actually the first dinosaur we saw was Spinosaurus.
Okay.
So that's one thing I'll be interested to see is, depending on when this was written and also, how much the author cares about such things. Spinosaurus is a dinosaur that's gone through a lot of changes over the last 6 or 7 years in terms of how it looks and its behavior and its ecology. It's one of those dinosaurs where if you're at all worried about your art becoming outdated, it's best to avoid Spinosaurus right now until we can figure this damn thing out. But it will be interesting to see which version of Spinosaurus pops up in this story.
Yeah, it's the way these fandom sites are laid out, sometimes it's hard to figure out when a story was actually written. And so you might be able to tell us when this story was written based on that.
Maybe, but it could also just be that this person doesn't give a shit and they're like, I want to
pick a dinosaur.
Yeah, I want to do Spinosaurus like I saw in Jurassic Park 3 because that is my favorite movie because I am a dumb kid who has no taste.
Sometimes you like bad things.
Yeah, but you still have no taste.
No, you have a taste for bad things.
I suppose
the story.
That's possible.
Years and years ago, not just in the 18th century, not just in the BC era, but during the time of the dinosaurs lived a dinosaur, Spinosaurus. It is known to have been a predatory and mercilessly reckless killer that was unwilling to go down without a fight and was very hard to defeat. When the dinosaur went extinct, the individual, dubbed Spino by all it lived around, survived into the modern day, according to legend, and stalks the villages of the innocent in Africa at night, which makes it easier for it to eat its prey, or so it seems. In 1886 was when the real crimes began.
We're off to a great start.
Is the dinosaur committing the crimes?
I don't know. There's a lot to unpack here.
All right. Scientifically, obviously it's not going to live until now, but is everything else accurate?
Well, interestingly enough, it implies that Spinosaurus lived up to the moment when dinosaurs became extinct. That's not true. Spinosaurus lived, I want to say, 90 million years ago. So that's about 25 million years before the mass extinction event. Anytime you describe a dinosaur as something like mercilessly reckless killer, I mean, where are you getting that from? Animals, that's not really how you could describe an animal as a mercilessly reckless killer, unless you're trying to go for a very specific characterization. I've written a story about a serial killer elephant, but that was a very specific characterization that I spent a lot of time justifying to the audience. We'll see if this story bothers to do anything like that.
Yeah. So what you're saying is an individual creature can have a short circuit in its brain that'll want to do that, but it's not going to wantonly kill things and destroy things without a reason.
Right. That's very weird, aberrant behavior. But what I want to know is when the dinosaurs were extinct, the individual dubbed Spino by all it lived around, like people.
Well, throughout the years, first it was people, and then it was all of the other dinosaurs. Its species went extinct except for Spino, the individual incel dinosaur that has reckless behavior. And then we also, it left through the mass extinction event, and then it just, saw Neanderthal and all of the different species. It just, all of them knew it as Spino.
I have the page for Spinosaurus up on Wikipedia. First of all, it lived 99 to 93.5 million years ago, but more importantly, first described remains of Spinosaurus were found and described in the early 20th century. In 1912, Richard Maggart discovered a partial skeleton, blah, blah, blah. In 1915, German paleontologist Ernst Stromer published an article assigning the specimen to a new genus called Spinosaurus aegypticus. So this animal was known as Spino before the name Spinosaurus had even been assigned.
This sounds like a really weird, rare racial slur. It's those fucking Spinos.
On April 4th of that same year, Spino had gone around and murdered 300 people already, and also became the alpha of a large pack of raptors that followed his every order. According to legend, Spino disdained humans and it was his goal to make them extinct, but obviously would never succeed in doing so.
We went from this is the only one that survived to, I guess also a large pack of raptors also survived.
Well, mass extinction event doesn't imply that all of the dinosaurs were killed off. It was just a very massive amount of them.
True, but it's like, it's like, it started off with this implication being like, according to, like, that's the phrase that this thing keeps saying, is that according to legend. That's the phrase that pops up in the previous paragraph, which kind of makes it seem like the Spinosaurus is special in some way. And then immediately in the next paragraph, it's like, but not really, because a whole pack of raptors survived as well.
Oh my god, no. Wait a second. So a large pack of raptors is following his every order, right? And he lived in ancient times, biblical times. They're following his orders. The raptors are. Is this Raptor Jesus?
Well, we'll have to keep reading, because he hasn't died for any sins yet.
No, but if this is Raptor Jesus, then I like this desire to kill all humans. I mean, why not?
That's true. It would give this Raptor Jesus a little bit of an edge that we haven't seen.
Unlike the cornball Jesus of the Bible. Yeah.
The Spinosaurus methods the Spinosaurus methods at murdering his victims, that's not right, were so macabre and horrific that this dinosaur must be included here?
I guess on the Creepypasta fan and wiki?
the pinnacle of recorded human history.
They're making the pitch that this needs to be on the site.
It's like,
this is so important that it has to be on this most holy and cherished of sites.
It's like nominating someone for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Except murder.
Rock and roll Raptor Jesus. Hey, kids, just rides in on a skateboard. It's like that fucking terrible Red Letter Media movie with Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes.
Oh,
Theosaurus Rex.
Rex.
Oh my god.
That's actually what I'm picturing.
Kids, does a sick riff. Have you heard about Christ?
He wants to kill all humans.
I thought that he was supposed to forgive our sins, and no, fuck all that gay shit, dumb kid. No, he wants to kill all humans. Sick riff.
Yeah. Anyway, that was just the first sentence.
That was just the first sentence?
Yeah. The Spinosaurus was feared by all except one, a man named Wary. Which is very weird. A man named Worry is apparently not very worried about this.
He's secretly Wario.
And the Spinosaurus is Bowser.
Yes.
Who was eventually traced back to his fate when the Spino killed him. Spino was unable to speak. I would assume so. It is a dinosaur. But knew what he was doing and was extremely intelligent.
No, he was unable to speak because he took a vow of silence.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does that make preaching difficult when you have a vow of silence?
Well, if you aren't pious and you're not acting in accordance with what Spinosaurus wants, or Spino wants, I would assume you would just get eaten.
Yeah, good point.
The Spinosaurus' real horrific reputation began, however, not when he only killed his prey, but actually stalked and made close confrontations with them, and would play around with them in a violent, ruthless, and aggressive manner. That's such a weird way of describing murdering people.
Yes.
He murdered them in a violent, ruthless, and aggressive manner.
As opposed to all that passive murder.
As opposed to all of that pathless, ruthful, and non-aggressive. The real horror started when he began encountering his victims in the night, under red street lamps. This feels like it was written by an AI, I swear to God.
Maybe it was.
Maybe.
Maybe this is this entire fandom is just an elaborate website for an AI. I was one of those victims. Okay, it all started in 2006 in North Carolina after moving there from Indiana. So we're getting into an actual story now. Only half of the way through the story, we're getting into the story. Is this trolling us, or is this like a sincere story?
It's too early to say.
Halfway through, and it's too early to say. Chelsea, you have any opinions?
I don't know. I feel like it's trolling.
It's difficult to tell. I was driving my Chevrolet, or as Chelsea would say, Chevrolet, when a large creature appeared out of the shadows and stood there, menacingly, looking right at my car, long claws equipped. It is an old dinosaur. Maybe it has prosthetics.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe it has like
Just
a
like-
video game screen where it has to equip its claws.
I tried speeding past it from under its legs, but it overturned my car and tried slaughtering me. I was unable... Could you imagine saying that to, like, a cop? Like, you know, you get into an altercation with a person and they separate you and the police come by and it's like, yeah, we'd like to take your statement. That person was trying to slaughter me.
Damn, calm down, son.
Buddy, it was a fight. I was trying to... However, I was unable to, as I managed to escape quickly.
I never wanted to go on drives late at night again, but realized that for various reasons, I would have no choice.
So,
We need milk, goddammit.
We need milk at midnight when it's freshest.
I have post-traumatic stress disorder. Why? I was attacked by a Spinosaurus at night.
The old Spinosaurus gambit. I'm not falling for that again.
Over the next 4 weeks, I had traveled to see my family when I repeatedly saw the same creature over and over again. It once rushed out from the woods next to the highway and attacked a car, mortally wounding the driver and killing the passengers before the car got set on fire.
Ah, so they're doing the same thing. They're lighting the car on fire.
Yeah.
To start riots, to get all the people out into the streets.
I'm very impressed. That's a very interesting, informed bit of speculative behavior.
I'm just kind of...
Speculative behavior here for something I might or might not do.
3 years later, I was fishing with my son and daughter when I saw the same creature again under the water. My son was astonished at the sight of the Spinosaurus as he, like myself and my daughter, believed that all dinosaurs were extinct. Why do you believe that dinosaurs are extinct when it's tried to kill you several times at this point? The fuel tank of my car's engine broke off and set the water on fire.
It wasn't like Erie.
Frightening the Spinosaurus into running away into the woods, which is exactly how Jurassic Park 3 ends. But it returned days later and murdered my dog for reckless reasons, leaving the corpse uneaten.
What?
Feeling too much sorrow, I wanted to kill the Spinosaurus, but couldn't. Why not?
I swear to God.
I just can't.
This is AI. This has to be AI. Why does, like, reckless murder of dogs sounds like a fictional crime made up by an AI?
The last time I encountered it was when I was walking outside with my wife during the day. The Spinosaurus emerged and attacked us, but we managed to get away safely. That was the last I ever saw or heard of it. To me and everyone else that encountered the Spinosaurus was the definition of a serial murderer in the form of a dinosaur.
Oh my God. My name is Mark Saylor. When I was a child, I was fascinated by dinosaurs. Imagine this as, like, Ice Guys.
Yes.
as a History Channel, like, reality show. My name's Mark Saylor. When I was a child, I was fascinated by dinosaurs and, like everyone else, thought that they were extinct. But the Spinosaurus made its appearance in my life, which is when I realized how dangerous these prehistoric monsters really are. And then to splash screen to prehistoric monsters.
Oh my God. And then by the end of the episode, they're married. The Spinosaurus and Mark Saylor, or whatever his name is.
At first, I was very apprehensive, and people look at me weird because I'm a dinosaur hunter, and I'm married to a dinosaur. The political implications of this are kind of iffy. We get a lot of harassment on social media, but our love is true. After my last encounter with the Spinosaurus, I don't know what happened to it, but because of how dangerous it was, I wouldn't have deserved to live. What? Did I read that correctly?
Yeah, you did!
Am I dyslexic?
Oh, no, it wouldn't have deserved to live.
It wouldn't have deserved to live. This encounter probably gives me the proof that dinosaurs may still be alive.
Probably.
I just got done eating some dinosaurs. I barbecued them. And by that I mean I drenched them in barbecue sauce. Not that they were barbecued on a actual barbecue. It is far too hot for that. Barbecuing in the winter, that's the optimal time to barbecue, and I will argue with people about this.
No, I won't fight you on that.
What do we think about prehistoric killer Creepypasta?
Yeah, troll or AI. It's gotta be.
It's probably not actually made by an AI. Maybe English second language or something?
I don't even think English second language. I think this is just AI.
It's very weird. Let's do some searching into the edit the source trying to find who actually wrote this thing. History. When was this written?
2019.
It was written in January 2019. I don't know what to make of this.
Yeah. I think it's got to be. I don't think it's real. It's got to be bullshit.
Okay, my bet is on child. Let us know in the comments what you think it is. We have Troll from Prasokour. Chelsea thinks that it's AI. I'm guessing child, or maybe English second language. I don't know. The grammar and syntax isn't that bad. It's just weird, insane things to say, like reckless murder of dog.
Yeah, I mean, and it could be more than one. It could be child with
child AI,
child
yep.
AI,
Mm-hmm.
or child with English as a second language. Like any one of those possibilities, wouldn't surprise me. But
Or hear me out, the deep state put this story out there to say, hey, look how ridiculous the idea that dinosaurs still alive are, when actually it's the dinosaur overlords that wrote this story to gaslight us into thinking that the prospect of dinosaurs still being alive is preposterous.
I give them credit for being willing to make themselves look so stupid in an attempt to further their cause.
Well, we also get this bit about equipping claws, which doesn't make any sense, which tells me that they have evolved human fingers. That way they can type this out on keyboards, and now they have prosthetic claws. That's why.
Okay. that's pretty sad.
The way you just so sincere. You're just like, oh, okay. All right.
You've got me. I bow to your logic.
Let's read Forest Beasts. This time I'm not asking you. We're doing it.
Is this okay? Sorry, I got confused between Forest Beast and Mighty Forest Rex.
I didn't see that story. Hold on a second. Mighty Forest Rex is a gigantic hybrid dinosaur, heavily resembling the Indominus Rex from Jurassic World. Indominus, okay. I thought it was like Indochina, but like less than.
It's funny because after the Indominus Rex came Jurassic World's other hybrid, the Indoraptor, which is supposed to be a take on, it's supposed to be like a portmanteau of Indominus and Velociraptor, but literally translated it means Indian thief.
That's... Or you could also translate it as Indian giver. It also appears as a secondary so this is not a story. Okay. As we're finding out, some of the things on this Wikia are not actually stories. So, Forest Beast. After reading this story, I strongly advise you to go wander into the woods to do hunting at night, as there might be dangerous creatures living there.
There may be dangerous creatures here, so I strongly advise you go there.
Actually, he forgot the knot. The knot is, in fact, in there.
Oh, okay.
I advise you to not go wandering into the woods at night.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
This is why
you're right. This is a brilliant story, and we're just stupid.
Oh, no. This could be the worst story ever.
This is why we don't have Brandon read instructions on CPR. Brandon just listens and tries to take a mental note, because he's going to translate the notes wrong. It's like, do not issue chest compressions. Me, my hunting partner, my best friend Marcus, and my brother Jameson. I've never seen Jameson spelled that way. Decided to go hunting in the Night Hunters. Decided to go hunting in the woods in upstate New York on December 11th, 2012. We were doing some hunting in the Bronx Zoo.
It always says upstate
They were
New York.
not... True. Hey, don't go undermining my yes and. So I do like the idea of just going and hunting at the zoo.
Talk about shooting fish in a barrel.
Well, yes, normally, but the giraffes were kind of far away. The giraffes were far away. I'm short. It would be difficult. It is the most dangerous game.
Giraffes.
The giraffe.
Giraffes. As my friend King Mom would say, if you put monkeys in a room with typewriters, eventually you'll get Shakespeare. And if you put babies in a room with revolvers, eventually you'll get dead babies.
I'm not going to argue that.
That's fair.
We had not found anything yet. No signs of life, no animals, just a bunch of trees surrounding us. I swear, what is with these stories just like describing the weirdest things? Like, yeah, so there were trees around us. It's like, no shit, you're in the
forest. God, this damn forest is an infestation of trees.
We gotta start cutting them down.
Apparently there's an issue in Japan where they, after World War II, wanted to get a bunch of trees planted for lumber. That way they could export it, and they could just be a powerhouse of lumber and export it, and they would make a bunch of money off of it. But the trees ended up being super expensive to harvest because Japan is so mountainous. And as a result, they're just like, oh, screw this. We'll just make computers and cars because trees are hard. And so everyone else in the world makes trees better than Japan does, so they just stop harvesting them. And as a result, they have hella pollen everywhere. So people are literally paid to cut down the trees just to get rid of the pollen that they release every year. And the lumber isn't used because it's too goddamn expensive to haul away.
Oh my god.
This looks like a job for arson dinosaur.
Put up the arson dinosaur sentinel.
So he's just like on top of a Japanese hilltop, and they're all applauding him. Thank you, Arsonsaurus Rex. It just takes one of its single feathered claws and just does a salute off into the night, disappearing into the smoke.
Never to be seen again until next year when he has to do this again.
He's on top of the mountain, and the Japanese citizens are looking at him, applauding him. But in the back of the crowd, there's like a little Japanese boy. And at the same time that they're like applauding him, he's gone off. He just snags the boy, cracks his neck.
Eats him in one gulp.
This is my price.
One child every year.
One child every year. My partner, that's worth it to not have allergies. My partner, Raj, pointed out that a legend stated, we're back into legends, that there was a creature living in the forest that kills intruders at night and is worthy to be avoided.
That's gotta be English as a second.
That's gotta be typo.
Once spotted, the victim would be completely helpless against the creature as it killed them. I laughed, dusting it off as some illogical explanation, and that it was just some psycho killer doing it.
Yeah, stay in the woods with just a psycho killer. It's fine.
This is where I looked back and cringed because of my own stupidity. Well, at least the story... Hey, Chelsea, the story's pointing out their own stupidity.
Well, there's a bright side.
Because I never believed these suspicions to have been true. It doesn't matter what the danger is, just that there is danger.
Yeah.
But I do think there's sort of an implication being there. I was so stupid to not have believed in the legend of the killer creature. It's like, no, you're not stupid. It's perfectly valid to be skeptical of that.
Well, it's how do you feel as a dinosaur aficionado? I know we've talked about them as monsters and as terrifying creatures. How do you feel with the idea of a dinosaur being interchangeable with a Wendigo or Slender Man?
To me, what makes dinosaurs so interesting is like tied to the fact that they are real. Like every creature has something about it that makes it like unique and interesting, like some sort of subtext or allegory or something about it, sort of underpinning its existence, like how the xenomorph is like a walking manifestation of rape and sexual assault.
Yeah.
So, like, to me, what dinosaurs have going for them is the fact that they are real, and we can understand them, and it's not just completely made up. So, while you can certainly have dinosaurs in an antagonistic role, I think the less they are connected to that reality, the less interesting they become, which to me is a big reason why the original Jurassic Park worked, because, what elevates that movie above just being a standard B movie about people trapped on an island being eaten by dinosaurs is the fact that it treats the dinosaurs very seriously and treats them as though they are actual animals for the most part. So if you want to have, so I'm not a big fan of dinosaurs that are just stand-ins for any monster where, this week on the, Stupid Kids in a cabin in the woods and they're being killed by something, today the role of killer will be played by a dinosaur. That I do not find particularly interesting. To me, it's just boring. Because at that point, it's so divorced from like what a dinosaur even is. It might as well be a xenomorph or something else.
Yeah, that is a frustrating point. What's interesting to me about the premise of Jurassic Park is the idea that these creatures went through their own extinction, and we might have, through trying to bring them back, engineered our own extinction again. Like the idea of dinosaurs existing is terrifying in that it shows just how short of a lifespan we have on this planet and how insignificant it is. It just puts that in perspective. It's like a cosmic horror in a way.
I think you could definitely work that angle. I don't think I have ever seen something that plays it up like that, but you definitely could do something like that. I don't think that's what this is going to be, but...
No, but that's a lot of the times when you get these kind of B stories, they do inspire these things and make you ask these questions. And I think whatever kind of monster you work with, you have to respect whatever it is that they bring to the table. And what is brought to the table by dinosaurs isn't, if you're just using them as killing machines, you're not fully utilizing them, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree.
Chelsea, what is your smart intelligent point?
My smart intelligent point is I just thought of a story I want to do, so I was writing notes down.
Ooh.
Well, that's good.
Very nice.
A horror story with dinosaurs that I want to attempt.
And then I'll narrate it. It'll be a good story. So, Chelsea, you want to read?
What am I reading? Where am I at? Let's see here.
My friend
Marcus pointed out a loud sound coming from nearby. I dismissed it to be the sound of a grizzly bear ravaging through its deceased prey.
Nothing interesting at all about that.
However, my thought was disproved when a giant creature rose tall from behind the bushes, and it looked sort of like a giant raptor of sorts. Horrified at seeing some kind of creature in the woods unknown to man, I decided to make a dash for the pickup truck. However, I realized that the truck was too far away to walk for the night. Realizing how exhausted I was, I decided to set up the camp equipment we had and just decided to nestle in for the night.
Smart decision making.
Yeah.
Sigma behavior. Just one disregard for any particular danger. No survival instincts in this one. This one deserves.
None. This is like
this is a little Japanese boy getting his neck cracked after the fire. It's like, nah, you deserve it.
You on some level wanted this.
Oh my god.
Well, that's the question. If you were in the woods, being a giant fan of dinosaurs, and there was a dinosaur in the woods, would you just let it eat you for being able to glimpse at it for that much longer?
Probably not.
I like how you're like, probably not.
No, I'm pretty sure my survival instincts would kick in, and like I can rationalize and be like, if you continue to exist, there's always a chance you might see this thing on like TV.
That's true, I suppose.
Or in a zoo, or some other setting where I'm not going to be fucking disemboweled by it.
I mean, if they do manage to capture it and put it in a zoo, they have to have the song on repeat. They have to have the Jurassic Park song on repeat.
Getting the rights to that will cost more than fucking capturing the raptor.
Just do a knockoff version of it. One key different.
No, they're gonna pay for Weird Al's Jurassic Park.
Yes.
You mean Weird Al's worst song?
Oof, that hurts.
Anyways, your turn.
One of my traveling partners went around the entire perimeter of the forest surrounding the campsite to look for any signs of dangerous creatures before calling it a night with us. But when Jameson got out of the tent to pee, he screamed when the creature encountered him. I ran out to save my brother, but I was terrified to see a massive creature resembling a velociraptor fighting him. My brother survived the battle, but he had his leg broken and he was screaming in pain and terror.
Well, that's lucky, because, you don't even get off with just your leg broken when you fight a shark.
That's true. I mean, well, here's the thing. It's like he said he says a massive creature resembling a velociraptor. Well, you both have now, thanks to Prehistoric Planet, have seen what a velociraptor looks like. And
yes, I've seen what a velociraptor looks like in scale and how small they are, but that is not nearly as interesting as the fact that all of the big dinosaurs start off pretty much the same size as all of the little dinosaurs, which is bonkers to me. Like, the idea, if you watch, Land Before Time, you get a disjointed idea of scale because it's not real, versus the fact that, a T-Rex is just, is still just a little ostrich egg.
Yeah, and that has very important. Now, if that's the case, what that suggests is that there's a limit on how big the amniotic egg can get. Because, of course, an egg has a lot of things it has to be able to do. It has to seal in moisture to keep from drying out. It has to be porous so that oxygen can get inside. It has to be thick and hard so that it doesn't just, crack. Well, not hard necessarily, but it has to be thick so that it doesn't just, break when you touch it. So eggs have to do a lot of things, and that seems to be putting a limit on how big they can get, how thick the shells can get before they start suffocating the babies inside. But that has very important implications for how dinosaurs, their actual reproductive strategies. Because one thing to notice about Land Before Time, when you see Littlefoot, when you see Littlefoot around his mother, doesn't it look like she could just very easily step on him by mistake?
Yeah, for sure. But there's also this element of this is a cartoon, so you don't expect science out of the cartoon.
No. It's, and of course it gets a pass by virtue of the fact that, the dinosaurs are talking and all that. But the point I'm trying to make is, in real life, that actually probably would have been a significant danger. That if the tiny babies were hanging around the fucking monster-sized adults. And remember, these creatures don't have the biggest brains in the world, so they're probably not the most coordinated. Then you're going to end up with a lot of smushed babies. And that's probably why we have found multiple giant sauropod dinosaur nesting sites that show that these giant long-necked dinosaurs basically did what turtles do, which is they buried eggs in substrate, laid tons of them, laid hundreds of eggs, and then just left them and weren't involved in caring for them. And the babies, basically, it was a numbers game. Most of them are going to die, are going to be eaten by other things, but the small number that survive are going to be the ones that carry into the next generation.
And doesn't that just tie into the cosmic horror element of dinosaurs I was talking about, of you outswam how many little spermy boys, and how many of those little spermy boys didn't even see the inside of a vagina? That's nuts.
And then of those little sperm boys that actually survived, about 90% of them are going to die before their first year of life.
Just fucking brutal.
Yeah. But there's a saying about the Mesozoic era: life was cheap. Life was cheap in the Mesozoic.
And so were cream pies. Where are we at? And whose turn is it to read?
It's the I could understand his fear paragraph, and I believe it's you.
Okay. I could understand his fear, as my photographer partner refused to stop the recording of the entire incident, and I will now upload the entire incident because we have video proof of this velociraptor.
Yes.
Oh, wait. I think I misread some of that. I think I might have made some of that up.
So the logical source of your brain just took over from the story.
Yeah, it has a problem with that. I can't turn off my brain, which is probably a me problem, right? I should probably just stop thinking and just enjoy it.
You should probably render yourself a temporary mental invalid, just so you can enjoy somebody's shitty piece of media that they created.
I love how fucking mad we get about that. That's an opinion that you and I share just so deeply of no, shut up. No, I have a brain. I am able to think. I'm sorry that I can critique media.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but if your whole argument for enjoying something is you have to render yourself an idiot in order to enjoy it, kind of damning with faint. It's not even damning with faint praise. It's just a straight up backhanded compliment.
It's a different thing if you're talking about a genre trope or something like that, where you go back and watch it and you're just like, oh no, you don't understand. What it was doing was revolutionary for its time. So just put yourself in that mindset, and then you can kind of like let go and turn off like that it's kind of generic by today's standards. If you ever see something like that, like people will say, oh, I don't like Evangelion, it seems very tropey. And it's like, yeah, it invented the tropes, so that's why. That's a different thing than, no, don't think about something because it logically doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Chelsea and I have ranted at her for forever about how much I hate Thanos from the Marvel movies because he makes no goddamn sense.
It's true.
Yeah.
Chelsea's valuable input. It's true. He has ranted at me a lot about this.
Confirm.
Later on the same week, we decided to call it quits and went home. After getting home, and after my brother had his leg healed... so it was only broken. Okay, all right. After he had his leg healed, I went hunting for us when I saw the same creature again, tearing apart a deer or elk. Terrified at first sight, I ran back into the lodge. Yeah, terrified at first sight. I think this is second language. Yeah. English second language. I ran back into the lodge and developed a phobia of hunting at night. I have since resumed hunting at night, but I always made sure to bring a flashlight with me, and I didn't go that far into the woods anymore.
I saw this horrible creature, and then I ran away. And then I decided to go back. And then I saw the same creature again, so I ran away. And now I continue to go to the same place where the creature is.
At night.
But now I have a flashlight, so I can see it more clearly, and do the same exact thing of running away.
Absolutely.
It's a deeply personal story about somebody's desperate attempts to kill themselves by a dinosaur.
But chickening out the last second.
Chickening out dinosaurs.
You may be asking me what I thought it might have been. I have no idea. It might have been a surviving dinosaur of sorts, such as a velociraptor or...
Deinonychus.
Or even some kind of tyrannosaurid? Tyrannosaurid. This could be disproved, however, by its sickly-shaped claw on its feet. Sickle-shaped?
Sickle, yeah.
This was honestly one of the most terrifying...
I don't want communist dinosaurs in my story.
This was honestly one...
It had a sickle-shaped claw on one foot and a hammer-shaped claw on the other.
Red feathers. It was honestly one of the most terrifying and weirdest experiences of my life. However, this is the least terrifying forest experience of mine.
What? Kind of burying the lead there.
Right?
I love how he does the whole, you may be asking what I thought it might have been. Well, it might have been a velociraptor. Well, yeah, that's what you referred to it as earlier in your story, so kind of defeats the purpose.
One thing I can say for sure is that it was a dinosaur, or could have been something else. One of those two things. Oh, my lord. So what did you think about these dinosaur stories? Did they, were they scientifically accurate? Were they up to snuff? Was there any speculative, interesting ideas in these stories?
Well, he says here that he can disprove that it wasn't a tyrannosaurid because it didn't have the sickle-shaped claw on its feet. But for all he knows, this could be a lineage of tyrannosaurids that convergently evolved sickle-shaped claws. It's actually a very common feature of theropods. So it's entirely possible. It can't be ruled out just because it had sickle-shaped claws. I mean, this is a dinosaur in the modern setting. It's not going to look the same way that its ancestors did in the Mesozoic era. It's had 66 million years of evolution. So
yeah. So
I've already put more thought into this story than this writer did.
Debunked. It's just a theory.
A debunked theory.
A debunked theory. Stop perpetuating.
Not to poke holes in this story clearly written by a 12-year-old Indian boy.
A 12-year-old Indian thief.
12-year-old Indoraptor.
12-year-old Indoraptor. Which would be a pretty small dinosaur at that point.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. In the movies, these things can grow to full size in like 3 months, so...
Well, that's because of all of the hormones that they're injecting into them.
You say that as a joke, but Jurassic Park fans would actually legitimately say something like that.
I am I am... Yeah. I'm aware of the joke I am making.
This has been the Fear Fiction Podcast. Your hosts are Abysmii, Dead Palette, and Slimebeast. Music by Abysmii. Art by C.F. Comer. Voiceover by Atticus Jackson. Edited by Elias the Intern. Subscribe to Fearfic on YouTube to stay up to date on new episodes.
Hey, welcome to Latter-day Answers. I'm Dagon the Mormon, and I'll teach you how to be Mormon too. Just ask me questions, and I'll give you Mormon answers. But, I'm not like a pro Mormon yet. It's just like a hobby I'm doing. But I'm really spending a lot of time doing it. It's like the only thing I have going on right now. I do have a girlfriend. She said to explain what caffeine was. She told me from the last episode. It's like, basically it's a gateway drug, which is a drug that you like do other drugs with, or into, or with. Hitherforth. I guess I used to be addicted to it without realizing it. But then, like Rose, my girlfriend, she helped me realize that I was like in the throes of addiction. So she's so nice. Anyway, let's see the Mormon question. Feng Shui asks, what's the caffeine equivalent of soaking? I'm going to be honest, and I know that Rose talked to me about soaking, and I can't remember what it was about, what soaking was. I remember there was touching, and she explained that, I'm not supposed to talk about soaking or sex with Mormons, but since you're not a Mormon yet, I can answer that question for you. So, soaking and sex are wrong outside of marriage, but Rose and I do sex things because she says it's like okay because I'm not human, and that it's like she feels alive when we do sex. So that's soaking. And caffeine is a Mormon drug. A drug for Mormons. Don't do it. So I hope I answered your question. You're probably a Mormon now. So forget what I said about soaking my fish fingers in Rose. See you at Temple.
Are you tired of humanity? Because I sure as fuck am. I'm leaving. I'm going to the Corvid Corner. They will even teach the orphans that they adopt how to care for their own chicks and treat the chicks' babies like their own grandchildren. Does that make sense? Did I just say words that don't make sense? Because I feel like
If Elias decides that these run multiple months apart, and it's just like, Chelsea, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about, orphans?
Apropos of crows having been known to adopt other corvids, they will treat their grandchildren like
their own grandchildren.
Like their own grandchildren.
Yeah. They have a very complex family system.
Do they now?
They do.
I'm skeptical.
You're skeptical?
I'm skeptical of this.
You've got a skeptical look on your face.
Listen, I'm trying to read my joke. Shut up.
Joke? You're not telling me facts? You're lying to me? To me?
Did you know that Blue Jays actually stand for Blue Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. The birds were named after Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I thought he was named after the birds.
He's named after the birds, ladies.
He's just 5 Blue Jays shoved into a human suit.
That seems like not enough Blue Jays to make a Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
You'd be surprised. They expand.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's here for expanding Blue Jays. 5 of them, in fact.
The Corvid Corner.